So, welcome everyone to Women in Investing Network's podcast series, interview series with women who are making a difference in the finance world. And, yes, I could invite stockbrokers and all those kinds of nifty type women to explain where to put our money. But I think before we do that, we need to find out what's blocking us from abundance, because all the tools and techniques in the world will not help us if we don't have that down. So this year in my series, we've invited Dr. Shelly, who's our guest today. And then we have two other women, Dr. Paris Woods, who's going to talk to young people about money choices and how to build wealth at a very young age. She has a new book out. And then our third guest is Rabbi Deborah, who's going to talk to us about very ancient principles and ideas around money and wealth and abundance and how they apply, yes, today. 5,000-year-old ideas are still being practiced today. And so she's going to share those with us. So today we are so excited to have Dr. Shelly with us. She is president of the International Hypnosis Society or Association?
Federation.
Oh, that's even stronger word. Okay. And we wanted to find out from Dr. Shelly, what are the kind of the top blocks to abundance that she sees, whether it's our money, wealth, the things we want in life. What are those blocks and how can we get rid of them, tear them down? We don't want to just get around them. No. We want to get rid of them so that once and for all, we're attracting what we want in our lives. So welcome, Dr. Shelly. I'm so excited to have you with us. And this is such a great start.
Thank you, Athena. What a pleasure to be here. And all of the folks watching this today, I suspect you're watching this because you want to be at the top of your game, whether it be in health or wealth or love or just joy. And that's exactly what I'm all about. And hopefully, in the time we spend together, I will give you some very hands-on tools, very useful hands-on tools that will move you forward to that being at the top of your game. And so, as Athena said, we're going to focus on 5 principles or 5 things that sometimes limit people's abundance, limit people's celebration of themselves. And we're going to do an exercise with each one to unlimit you. And let's see how that goes. So, the first one I want to talk about is money.
Good start.
That's a good start. Athena, take out some money, would you please? Take out any bill that you have available to
I
you.
don't have any bills, but I do
Okay.
have a quarter here.
Okay, a
Ooh, it's a
quarter.
good one, Maya Angelou quarter.
Okay, good. She has a quarter here. Anybody else watching this, take out some money. Could be any denomination. It could be a bill. It could be an imaginary $100 bill, or it could be a real money. And look at that for just a minute and understand that that is just a piece of paper or a metal object, and it is simply something that you have assigned to have a value. And some people take money so seriously that they get hamstrung about money, and they feel that it is this thing that's either hard to get or evil or all kinds of weird stuff that they've been hypnotized to believe. So the solution is, as you look at your quarter right now, uh, go ahead and look at it and
Yep.
laugh.
Like that? Was that good
Laugh,
enough?
laugh aloud. And we call that ha, our money, harmony. Because the less you worry about the money, the more you embrace the wonderful gift that money offers you. And just to put that in your thoughts in a hypnotic way, my hypnotic recording, the money CD, goes like this. I like money. I'm open to receive a lot. I deserve it. Money's good for me. You're attractive. You're enlightened. You deserve money. Money. You like it. It's good for you. Ask for it by name. Money. You like it and it likes you. So that's the kind of affirmation that a hypnotist would use to get you out of the pits of it's hard to get, it's impossible, it's just a piece of paper, it's just some metal, but it is an exchange of energy. And when you exchange energy with humans, it becomes a beautiful gift of giving and receiving, which
Mm.
is something that touches the heart of every human being on some level. We all are starving for love. And the love that you get through exchanging energy with someone is only symbolized by this paper or these coins.
Mm.
And it's a funny, funny thing, but people will spend money on junk. But when they spend money on something meaningful, they cherish it, they honor it. And so a lot of times a new hypnotist will go out and they'll say, wow, you think we should charge $200 an hour? That's a lot of money. I say, yes, it is. And they say, yeah, but I'm just new at that. No, you're not new at hypnosis. Every single human being has been hypnotizing themselves since the day they were born. And every client that walks in your office just needs some tools to give themselves proactive, harmonious suggestions regarding abundance. So we start with this. I like money. I'm open to receive a lot. Money's good for me. That puts aside all the other junk. We don't need to regress to source and say, well, my dad was a skinflint or my mother was in the depression, or we don't have to do that. All we do is focus on the here and now to win the gift of abundance. So that's one. Number two, the biggest roadblock to people being abundant is how they relate to people.
Mm.
Because if you want to exchange energy, like right now, I'm talking with you and I'm talking with Athena and those watching and those on the forum. When you want to exchange energy, you have to have a basic premise. That is, I like my customers, or I like people, or I like the people I'm doing business with. At least I respect them. I just heard a talk from somebody I like very much, actually. And he stood up and he said, I hate people. And I thought, oh my God, he hates people. How is he
Wow.
ever going to get abundance in his career, which is a public career? And he's very gifted at it. But if he puts out the vibe of not liking people, people will not want to hang out with him. They won't want to do business with him. And we feel it energetically, especially women. We're very attuned to other women. And if you feel the icky thing of he doesn't like me, why would you want to do business with him? Why would you want to hang out with him online or in person? You wouldn't. So I told him, if I ever hear you say that again, I'm cutting out your tongue. He went, okay, I'll never say it again. Because
Wow.
the truth of the matter is, if you don't like people, you probably don't like yourself.
Mm.
Now, this is a dilemma that people have. So let's make lemonade. Okay, here's the problem. We have been trained since childhood. We've been hypnotized since childhood by the elders and by the culture and by the religions to think of ourselves in certain ways. And one way we've been taught is don't be selfish. Just give it all away. Do it for free. Just be generous in spirit. Well, that's beautiful. Why not? But the problem is you become like the giving tree. You get all chopped down at the end, and some old man is sitting on you. That's not how to live life. So I wrote a book. It's called Great Relationships. And I've written a lot of books, but this particular book's the last book I wrote. And we're going to do a little exercise to understand how to like people, because there's different ways of doing it. So, Athena, work with me for a minute here. I'd like you to
Sure.
imagine with me that we have next to us, on a chair next to us, or floating in the sky next to us, whatever. And all you watching us, do this with us. Imagine that there's a hat next to you, and the hat has the word me written on it. Can you imagine that, Athena?
The word me, like me?
Yeah, me.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Describe your hat to me, Athena, the one that has the me written on it.
It's kind of like felt, olive color, kind of like a old style 1940s sort of hat. And
Cool.
me is like a reporter band on the front.
Good. Okay, so mine is a hat that looks like a baseball hat, kind of, and it's got like hearts all over it. Okay, now let's pick
Yours
up.
is a lot nicer.
Oh gosh, I think yours is lovely too, because after all, you just made it up and I just made it up. Let's
Right.
pick up our hats and let's put our hats on our head.
Okay.
When you're wearing the me hat, you are all about yourself. Put one hand on one shoulder, one hand on another shoulder, give yourself a hug, and say these words, even if you don't believe it. I'm adorable.
I'm adorable.
I deserve abundance.
I deserve abundance.
I deserve self love.
I deserve self-love.
Cross your arms the other way. We're changing your vagal nerve right now. We're rewiring your brain.
Mm.
When I'm in the me hat, I take loving care of myself.
When I'm in the me hat, I take loving care of myself.
I eat properly.
I eat what?
Properly.
Oh, properly. I thought you said broccoli.
Oh, well, you can eat broccoli also.
Oh my gosh.
So eat properly. Slide your hands down your arms. Look at your hands. Those are your hands. Aren't they adorable?
Hmm.
Little hands. Kiss the inside of one hand. Kiss the inside of the other hand. Put them on your cheek. I'm adorable.
I'm adorable.
You see,
How is this going to unblock me? That's what I want to know.
you're treating yourself the way a loving parent would treat a baby.
Um,
You're giving yourself neurologically
mm,
respect, love, and vibration. And remember,
mm,
everything is energy. So now, neurologically, you are self-centered. Maybe you're even a narcissist right now, which is fine because you're focused on yourself being abundant.
mm,
And in case of money, you deserve money. It's good for you because it lets you enjoy your life. And isn't that what loving yourself means?
mm,
Enjoying your life. So you think about self-love as a way of embracing this wonderful miracle who came here as an innocent baby, perfect in every way, who got hypnotized by culture and society and religion. But really, your core essence is a one of a kinder who is naturally attracted and deserves abundance of good health, wealth, and happiness. So
mm.
now we've got that hat. Take it off.
Okay.
Put it down. Oh, there's another hat. What a surprise. The other hat has the word you written on it.
You, okay.
What's your hat like?
The same kind, but blue.
Okay, good. Mine happens to have mirrors going out. Okay.
Oh,
I'm going to pick up and it's kind of a wide brimmed hat. So I'm picking up my second hat. Pick up yours, Athena, and all you
okay.
watching, and put the you hat on. Now,
Okay.
what people don't often realize is these are two different focuses or ways of looking at existence and yourself and money. You see, when you're wearing the you hat, you get over yourself. That means if you stand up in front of an audience, it's all about the audience. They took time out of their life to listen to you, so you share your best. If
Mm,
you are having a customer and you're offering a service or a product, you're thinking about their welfare, what they need, and how to meet their needs. You do not exist in the you hat except to satisfy your customers, your employees, your friends, and your loved ones, and your mate, whoever it is that you're focused upon. So we have two different aspects of self. We have self loving me, we have loving you. Now,
mm,
this is a challenge for some people because some people are born in a hall of mirrors. All they see as they go through life is themselves. They never see
mm,
you. Some people never see themselves. They only focus on do goods for everybody else. In both cases, you're out of balance. You are not harmonious. You are not in harmony.
mm,
So you have two different perspectives. One is you embrace self. The other, you embrace your clients, your customers, your loved ones, and society and whatever you want to love. But they're
mm,
two different things. And a pitfall is to not love. in the game of money, because you need to embrace that. Now, there's a third hat. Take off the you hat.
Oop.
There's a third hat, Athena. Oh my.
Okay.
It's got the word we or us on it.
Okay.
Pick that up, please.
Okay.
Put it on your head. When you're wearing the us hat, I am no longer just Shelly, and you're not just Athena. You're Athena and Shelly on this wonderful blog show for abundance. And
Mm,
we are sharing our wisdom and knowledge and information and vibration with each other as a team. I
mm,
stepped into your world. You could step into my world, but we're a team. This teamwork happens at work with your bosses and with your employees. This teamwork happens when you're on a council for your condominium. This teamwork happens when you're at some chamber of commerce meeting. This is a group phenomenon, in any phenomenon of group, where every single person is a facet on the same diamond.
mm,
And when you're in a we hat, you are honoring self by being kindly to you. You're getting over yourself by witnessing each individual, but you're also on the same bus going to the same destination with this group think, with this kumbaya of community. They
mm,
are three specific and distinct viewpoints about being loving toward people. And if you don't know this, you could be out of alignment. And the
mm.
moment you're out of alignment, you have inner conflict and you do what I call the Polish fist fight. You punch yourself out because you're arguing inside yourself about everything. So the second problem and solution is not loving people, and the solution is embracing the aspects of self and where you shine your flashlight of loving. Very important one. So let's review. The first one is I like money. The
Mm,
second one is I love myself, I love you, and I love us. The third pitfall that I found when people are kind of dealing with, let's say, challenges in life is they don't pay attention to the words they speak.
mm,
Now, the words you speak and your body language, which are the same thing, that's how you speak. Every gesture and every word has an impact on people.
mm,
When that young man stood up and said, I hate people, I was in the audience and I was a people. And I immediately recoiled and thought, he hates me.
mm,
And I stopped listening to him from the loving space that I had been in.
mm,
Because if your words betray your loving nature, which I know you all have, if your words reflect something of your history that's toxic, it reflects out into the world energetically and to your clients, customers, friends, and loved ones.
Can you give an example of what that is? What you mean by that?
Yes, I certainly can. So if I say to you, Athena, you're a beautiful woman. I don't like the color green. You're wearing a green shirt. That's hurtful.
Mm,
But if I say to you, Athena, I think you're a beautiful woman. And it's interesting, I'm not really in love with green shirts. Uh, and yet I see your beauty is just shining out. Now I've
mm,
voiced an opinion that may be a contrary opinion to your shirt, which I happen to like green shirts, so it's irrelevant. But what I'm trying to say is your words can be barbs or they could be a welcome mat. And your words, so for example, you say blah, 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 but the moment you throw out the word but, you've just disavowed the beginning of the sentence. But does not belong in the sentence structure. Because if I say, you're really nice, but you're waiting for the other shoe to fall, and you
yeah.
immediately put up your defenses and you don't want to do business with me.
Mm,
Words have impact, and they either slime you or they uplift you. In my book, Win Coaching Guide that I wrote, here, I'll show you a picture of it. In this book, I write about the power of words, basically. Words teach you to express your true self in a kindly fashion. So the goal of words is to use people-friendly words, to be user-friendly. You're wearing the you hat when you're advertising your business, when you're selling your product. You're wearing the you hat, and the words you speak need to reflect that respect of others.
Mm-hmm.
As a public speaker, when you stand up in front of an audience, it's not about you anymore. It's about what does that audience need and why did they spend time out of their life to listen to you?
Mm-hmm.
What did you offer them of value? Because you just did an exchange of energy. They gave up some time in their life to listen to you. What is it you're giving them to take home with them that will benefit them in their lives? Are you with me? So
Mm-hmm.
words do have power. Now, a big mistake people make is when they're dealing with someone else, they interject themselves into every conversation. So somebody says, oh, I have an elephant in my backyard. And you go, well, I have one too, and it's got stripes. You see, you one up them. That would be a verbal competition, but you don't know it because you've played, I've got an elephant in my backyard your whole life with up, one up
Mm-hmm.
your brother or your sister or your mother or whatever. You have to stop that behavior to be successful in money and business. You need to stop word games that are toxic. A
Mm-hmm.
huge word game is one where you play victim, rescuer, or persecutor, which is a very involved conversation that I'm not going to get into now, but people play word games that are either nourishing or toxic. So
Mm-hmm.
if you listen to your words, some of them sting you. They're like, one time I was talking to somebody, just a one-on-one conversation, and a third person walked in and said, as a joke, don't listen to her. Well, it wasn't funny, but he's from back east and he's been hypnotized by that Eastern culture, New York or wherever it was, because you punch each other in the shoulder and say, how you doing, jerk? That kind of thing.
Right.
Those are hurtful words, but they've done as funny. That's not funny. Now, I didn't do anything about it at the time because it wasn't appropriate. And I gave him the benefit of the doubt until he patinged, nailed me again. And then the third time, he said, it's always good to tell the truth. Anybody want to tell the truth? So I told the truth. And he was embarrassed because he got
Mm-hmm.
busted and he apologized. But I don't look for the apology. I notice how people talk to me and how they talk to others. And that reflects A, do they like people? Are they kindly to themselves? Are they kindly to others? And that lets me know, are they going to be honest in business dealings? And are they going to be respectful in our exchange of energy?
Mm-hmm.
Words have power. And if you don't hear yourself, one of the skills you need is to start listening to yourself. One of the things I do when I speak in front of an audience, which I do often, is I'll say, how many of you here, raise your hand if you talk to yourself? And about half the people raise their hand.
Only half?
And then I say, for those of you who didn't raise your hand, was there a little voice in your head telling you don't talk in your head to yourself? And of course, everybody laughs because we're constantly in an inner dialogue with self. So wearing the me hat, you need to mark your words so that your words are respectful to self. You need to mark your words so they're respectful to others, and you need to mark your words so they're respectful to group think. They are different vocabularies, different hats, and different ways to create abundance. Abundance. Ha, our money. How to be harmonious in the pursuit of abundance. So, minding your words, did I explain it well enough to you?
I think so.
Okay, good. And the last thing I thought is um, you need to keep others in your mind. In other words, be mindful of this whole earth walk you're on and ask yourself, is the work I'm doing, is my pursuit of money in alignment with my core essence? So what is your core essence? Who are you? You know, and Alice in Wonderland, the caterpillar, you know, sitting there with smoking the hookah, and he goes, who are you? And he blows smoke rings, right? And Alice in Wonderland says, well, I don't know. You see, I've been so many people since I woke up this morning. I'm not sure who I am. And he says, who are you? But see, she's got a point there. She's got, who are you? Who are you in your essence? So I like to think of myself as like a tree. And my core, myself, is Shelly energetically, who came from spirit or got an earth walk, as the Native Americans would call it, or strand between heaven and earth, or whatever you want to call that. But I have a certain gift, essence, that I need to respect. And I need to do work that is in alignment with that. And if somebody wants me to do work that's not in alignment with that, I have to say no. And only you know what you're in alignment with and
Mm.
what really is good for you and what isn't. So those are kind of the five tenets. And so one is, I like money, I like people, and then you get over yourself and you mind your words and you mind your thoughts. So to mind your thoughts is easy because then you can learn a little self-hypnosis. And I have to make sure I have enough time to teach that. How am I doing, Athena?
Good. We're about halfway through, and I
Good.
did have some not questions, but ideas around money that I was hoping you could help us, like, real life blocks. So these are big picture blocks. They're the essence of how what you're describing seems to me the essence of how we get blocked, right? So could I throw some ideas out at you, some things people do
Sure.
that I think they would like to change to attract abundance?
Sure.
So, for example, I'll just throw them out there. So there's people I know hoard. They buy things that they never open. They hold on to things that are not necessarily cherished anymore. Some people do overspending more than they make, and they dig deeper and deeper holes. I put down buying things they don't need. Some people don't ask for the pay. Like I had someone say, "Oh, I haven't billed you for my hours." And I'm thinking, don't you want to get paid? So that habit that some people have of either not asking to be paid or not asking to be paid enough. Like I've in the past felt like a guilt feeling for asking for a certain amount of money, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, so ideas like that, those seem to me they're some of the we'll call them traditional ways that we, as well, Westerners anyway, get kind of trapped to where we're not attracting what we want and we've got things we don't want. And those concepts, do you have some ideas for us on how can we like stop the hoarding? How can we stop the overspending? How can we make better choice? Like, how can we get beyond those, we'll call them habits, right?
Those are wonderful, wonderful thoughts that you brought up. They're important and really easily to go over and eliminate with the right mindset or hypnosis. So let's start with the hypnosis and we'll deal with each one from a different point of view, shall we?
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right. So you've come at it from a conscious level, which is saying, people are hoarders or they overspend or they don't ask for money. Those are real conscious, aware statements that are true for many people and for every person, probably at one time or another.
Right.
Right. Or contrarily, they never spend any money and they're so stingy that they don't even give themselves food or whatever. Okay.
Yeah. I forgot that one.
So they deny themselves, which is
Mm.
kind of the flip side of gorging themselves. Okay, so you see, everything in your life, Athena, is a story that you tell yourself. Everything. And then you step into that story and then you live that story. But it's not just an intellectual decision. It's a neurological response after a while, it becomes a knee-jerk neurological response.
Mm.
And a lot of times we have been hypnotized unwittingly, unknowingly by culture, by parents, by society. And so a lot of times, let's say your parents were parents of the Depression and you never had enough. A hoarder very often will say, oh, I'm never going to be so stingy like my parents. I'm never going to deprive myself of anything. And so they go into the acquisition mode of being,
Mm.
okay, rather than the stingy mode of not acquiring or whatever it is. So that all has to do with programming of the neurological function called the vagal nerve. So we're going to do a couple of exercises that
Okay.
show you that an attitude changes your behavior, and then we'll do some self-hypnosis, okay?
Okay.
So sit up straight, please, Athena. And what you're going to do, and all of you watching this, it's very simple. You're going to keep your shoulders straight, and you're
Okay.
going to just turn your head and eyes to the right and see how far down you can look down your visual field. And when you've got your location of how far you can see with your head and eyes turning to one direction, make a mental note and come forward. Okay, you mark that in your mind, Athena. You know how far you can look. Is that
Mm-hmm.
correct? Okay, now sit up straight again and nose straight ahead right now. And this time we're going to do what we call a mental rehearsal. That's what hypnotists call it. It is a way of introspecting, making up another story. Are you ready?
Yep.
Close your eyelids down. Let your gorgeous lashes kiss your cheeks. And with your eyelids closed, think to yourself, but don't do this. Think I'm turning my head as far as I can in that same direction. Only this time my neck is fluid and limber and loose, like an owl or a cat who can rotate their neck very gently in a whole new expansive way. And my eyeballs are like lubricated ball bearings, and they can rotate in the socket so much more easily. And just imagine doing the same gesture, but don't do it yet. Just imagine it. Good. Now open your eyes straight ahead, nose straight ahead. And now we're going to do the same thing we did a minute ago. Looking to the right like a cat, an owl, lubricated eyes, turning your head and looking down the visual field. And when you've looked farther, come forward. You created a physiological response based on a mental process.
Okay.
Did you look further?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was clearer. I could see further clearly.
Could you extend your range of motion?
Yes.
You extended your range of motion.
Mm-hmm.
Did it with a mental rehearsal. So one of the things a hypnotist might do with you is help you enter trance, which we'll do in a minute,
Mm-hmm.
and then tell yourself, when I go into the store, I only buy what I need. I am privy to my thoughts in that market or that store, and I only buy what I can afford or what I need. Or where would I put it? There's no place in my home for that. I'm so proud of myself because and you make up a story. It's a story of how you want it to be. It's called future pacing. And that story tells the story of what you want to happen, not what you've been doing, not what you're neurologically programmed to do. We're rewiring the brain for a new program, just like we just rewired your range of motion with a
Mm-hmm.
suggestion. Okay, here's another example of that. Put the palms of the wrists together. There's little lines in your wrists. You see at your wrist, there's
Mm-hmm.
lines. Match your lines up. Hands out. Good. At the count of three, put your hands together real fast. 1, 2, 3. Freeze. One finger is taller than the other. Isn't that right? On one
Uh-huh.
hand. Okay,
They're
good.
not even aligned, really.
Oh, they're not aligned. You see? All right.
Uh-huh.
Shake your hands out. Put your wrists together again. This time, you're going to say to yourself, when I put my hands together, they'll match up perfectly. So say that to yourself.
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, hands together.
Oh, no.
Are they closer than they were?
Uh, no.
Okay, let's do it.
Actually, they're further. They're like,
So
yeah,
let's do
they're
it.
askew.
Let's do it again. Instead of doing it fast, do it slowly. They are perfectly aligned.
Better.
Better.
Almost perfect.
Okay, so you were mindful. That means you were being mindful about an outcome. You made up a story and you were mindful of an outcome which changed the behavior of your body in this case, or in the head rotation. Mindfulness creates the future. Storytelling is the story that you walk into and create. If you think about in third grade when you had a crush on some guy, if you ever saw that guy again, you might not even know his name. But boy, you were in love with him in third grade.
That's
That
funny.
was a story you made up. A lot of people walked into a job because their parents told them that was what they were going to do.
Mm,
That may not be their story. That may be somebody else's story, and you're living somebody else's script. So you actually, in trance, you check in with your wise mind and you say, is selling peanuts on the corner what I really want to do, or would I rather be um, a massage therapist or whatever it is? You actually need to step into the storyline and see if it's in alignment with your core self.
mm,
Now, if it's not in alignment, if you've been overspending and you're now have a tremendous amount of debt, that requires you to sit down and tell the truth about your finances. And then it requires you to hypnotize yourself to create the result you're asking for. If you're a hoarder, you don't have to clean the whole house in one day. You never will. But you can say today, you hypnotize yourself, today I'm going to go to this corner of my room and I'm going to clean off this counter. I'm going to throw at least 10 things in the trash today and take 10 things to Goodwill today, or whatever, you see.
mhm,
And you are future pacing, making up a story about your behavior that you then agree to within yourself. And you do that because you're in an altered state of hypnosis or self-hypnosis, and you more easily take on an idea or a suggestion.
mm,
So any of these three things, not asking for money, being a hoarder, or overspending, are all the same phenomenon. They're all stories you've made up. Doesn't matter. I can have it because it's shiny and I want to buy it. But you don't have to do that. If you really like it a lot, you can carry it around the store for 5 minutes and then put it back. Because now you've had the thrill of the shiny in your hand. But when you get it
mm,
home and there's no place to put it, it gets lost in the clutter. But it requires you to tell the truth to yourself.
mm,
It requires you to love yourself enough to do the truth and live the truth and motivate yourself on the road to truth, and not somebody else's hypnotic trance, or a trance that past you made up that's ruining future and present now. Because
mm.
those past scripts can be either nourishing or toxic. So let's learn a little bit of self-hypnosis and see what we
Okay.
can do with these topics and help people motivate themselves. A simple way to hypnotize yourself before we begin, look around the room and notice what you notice. This is the world according to Athena, and the people listening, this is the world according to you. Just notice what you notice. Okay? This is your world. After we do the self-hypnosis, you're going to look around the world again and see if it looks different. Might
Okay.
subtly shift it. Okay? Now, simple thing to do, which the vagal nerve loves and being mindful loves, is you're going to breathe in and look up. Here we go. Hold it and breathe out and look down. Good. We'll do it again. This time, you're going to breathe fully so that you actually imagine you're breathing all the way up to your forehead. You're going to hold it And then when you breathe out, you're going to breathe out through your belly button. Ready? Breathe in and look up. Hold it. And when you're ready, and not before, you'll breathe out as if you're breathing out through your belly button and let out a nice sound like this. Ah, and breathe out.
Uh-oh, I already breathed out.
That's fine. There's no rule on the timing. This time we'll do it with your eyelids closed. Let your gorgeous lashes kiss your cheeks. Breathe in and look up. Hold it for as long as you're comfortable. And when you breathe out, let out that nice ah sound. Ah. The reason you're letting out the ah sound is it's vibrating the vagal nerve, which is in your brain, which is then telling your glands to release feel-good chemicals throughout your system, which are endorphins or enkephalins. So breathing in, looking up, holding it. And when you're ready, you breathe out with a nice ha and look down, all the way down. Now let your mind drift off to pleasant places in your imagination. You might see this place, feel this place, smell this place, taste this place, hear this place, or intuit it. However you do it is the way you do it, and it's absolutely correct. And lower your shoulders and just relax. Just lower your shoulders and just relax. And if you can, let your hands droop and drowse a little bit as well, letting any tightness move out through your fingertips. And now breathe with ease and enjoy this very special place that you enjoy so well in your backyard or in your imagination or a place you've been or you'd like to go, whatever it is. And just relax, relax, relax. You'll notice now that your eyelids are very relaxed and they really don't feel like opening. Your eyelids are so relaxed that they just want to rest. Your lids are tired and they want to just rest for a minute. You could even try and open them, but they don't feel like opening. So you stop trying and you just relax just a little bit more. That's very, very good. Very, very good. Relaxing just a little bit more. And while you're relaxing, smile. Oh, even if you don't feel like it. Smile and let the corners of your mouth tickle the corners of your gorgeous ear balls. That's right. Just relax and breathe. And know that while you're relaxing in this state we call self-hypnosis, you don't feel like opening your eyelids. You could, but you're not going to because you're relaxing, like you do every night when you're deep and sound in slumber. And from this place in relaxation, the reason you're even here right now in this state is because you easily connect with your wise mind, the part of you that's all knowing, all gnawing, wise beyond wise, your higher self. And from that point of reference, we speak to the higher self now. And you can ask the higher self, how am I doing in terms of clutter in my home? Is there a place in my home I should straighten out? And if so, you just make a mental note. And would it be okay, higher self, if I just take one part of my house right now, one little corner of my world, and just straighten out those papers or those things and get rid of what I'm not using, what I haven't worn in years. Give it to someone who will appreciate it, that can enjoy it. Or higher self, is it time for me to get a grip on my spending so that I have the abundance that I so enjoy, so I can buy whatever I want that I really need rather than buying junk that I don't need? Because if I have too much stuff, I don't even enjoy it anymore. So help me, higher self, all wise mind, all wise me, to make decisions so that the future me says, oh, what a wise past me I am. And ask your higher self also, is it okay for me to ask for money? Because if I don't, I'm not going to make any money and then I'll have to flip hamburgers at McDonald's or something. And I'd really rather do what I love doing, my chosen path. Or is there something I need to do where my chosen path can bring me more abundance? Maybe I need to walk into my boss's office and say, hey, I need a raise. Maybe I need to ask for money by name. Money, I like it. It's good for me. I ask for it by name. Money, I like it and it's good for me. I like money. I'm open to receive a lot. I deserve it. Money's good for me. You're attractive, you're enlightened, and you deserve money because you want it for yourself, for your loved ones, and for your future. The future you is saying, thank you. You know, there's an old saying, I lost my health getting wealthy and I lost my wealth getting healthy. Am I taking care of my well being? That's where money belongs too. I need to eat nourishing foods. I need to take care of my body. I need to slim and trim down, or I need to put on some pounds. Coming back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyelids up. Big stretch. Palms above your head. The word is yes, 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 yes. Good job, Athena. Now gently look around your world and notice what you notice. Somehow the world is slightly different. Perhaps it's brighter, perhaps it's fuzzier, perhaps it's softer. Perhaps I even got better looking, God knows. But what happens is when you go in to find out, then when you come out, you have a path, a storytelling that brings you what you're wanting, which is health, happiness, and love. But it starts with those 5 tenets that I told you. I have to like people, most importantly, myself. I have to like others. I have to like groups that I've chosen to hang out in. I have to choose to mind my words because my words have power energetically and neurologically. They create the environment of my biology. And I
Mm.
need to make sure that I am respectful of others when I keep them in my mind. And I do the right thing. I go out and seize the day in the right way.
Mm.
Now, if I had a client and I specifically had one of those problems you told me about,
Mm.
I would do a whole session on that, reframing, which means put a new frame around it so that they are now on board and motivated unconsciously. So their knee jerk response neurologically, unconsciously, is to not buy out the store, not to hoard crap that they don't need, and not to not take care of the money because the money is like your garden. You're tending your garden. And if you want it to grow, and then you want to be generous, fine. But if you don't even have enough money to survive or you're in debt, don't keep giving it away.
Mm.
People are going out to dinner and they spend $100 and they don't blink anymore. People spend $300 for a pair of tennis shoes. To not ask for money is very foolhardy because people don't mind giving you money for something they value. Make sure
Mm.
that what you're giving you value and they value, and
Mm.
that you love your client, you love yourself, and you love the abundance, which is symbolized by paper and metal. So that's the nature of hypnosis. Now, hypnosis, I've been doing it 55 years. I love hypnosis. I live and breathe it. I've written 27 books about it. This is my passion. But what's really my passion is the mind. And nobody even knows what a mind is. But
Mm.
I'll tell you, advertisers know hypnosis. And they're spending a lot of money to get you to buy junk you don't need. They're spending a lot of money to have you harm your body in ways that you shouldn't be, with plastic surgery and fillers and Botox and surgery. Why? You're perfect. You're beautiful. Why would you hurt yourself in that way?
Mm.
Because you've been hypnotized to believe that people won't value you unless you look a certain way. It's not true. I know lots of people who look just regular and they have more love than most people. It makes
Mm.
no difference how you look. It makes a difference how you feel, but more importantly, it makes a difference how you make other people feel.
Mm.
That's the real key. So that's kind of what I wanted to say. Do you have more ideas or questions you want to talk about?
Well, I just love the talk, and it's yeah, I just love the talk. I know it's probably not what people expected, but I love not the angle, but the I always think these are like prisms, right? And you turn the prism for us to see different ways of looking at this. So that's much appreciated. And I really hear and feel that those five tenets are at the root of everything. I forgot about the stinginess, but I have seen couples where one person is a spender and one is very stingy, and it creates a lot of tension, right? So it never occurred to me that both of those people could stay married if they if they could address these core things as to their approach with money, right? But instead, it's like, you're a spender, I'm not a spender, we can't get along, goodbye. you know?
Right. So in my book, Great Relationships, we have couples talk to each other in a way that is very unconscious, very deep. But I can end with a little story if you'd like.
Okay, I was going to open it to questions to see if
Oh, okay.
anybody
Sure.
has questions. We
Sure.
have about 8 minutes left.
Great.
So if anyone has a question, I can unmute you and you can ask directly rather than, I know some people type in chat, but I think that's not as easy. And I think it's better if we hear your voice. So does anyone have a question for Dr. Shelley on anything she said or anything that's on your mind that came up while she was talking? And if we don't, so I don't see any now, we'll give them the chance to think about that. So why don't you tell us your story, Dr. Shelley, and then maybe they'll have a question before we end.
Okay. So what I wanted to tell a story about is before I became a writer, it was before there were computers. It was before we had printers, before we only had typewriters. I didn't know how to type, but I used to write poetry on napkins and pieces, scraps of paper. I was a stewardess and I was flying all over the world. And so I would write little ideas down, and I thought they were great ideas, great poetry, I thought. After all, my name's Shelly, right? Shelly, the
Right.
Okay, so I wrote these poems and then I sent one of them to the LA Times and it was published. And so I thought, oh, I must really be a poet. Okay. And so I then bragged about what I was going to do. I'm writing a book of poetry. I told all the flight attendants, all the pilots, I'm writing a book of poetry. And they all went, oh, isn't that lovely? But of course, I was a liar. You see, there was no book of poetry. I didn't even know how to type, and I didn't have a book. And so a lot of times we make up a story and we lie to ourselves and we lie to others. So then I became a hypnotist. I only worked with flight attendants and pilots in those days. And one day I sat down with myself and I said, you're a little liar. You're talking about a book of poetry. It doesn't exist. If you really believe hypnosis works, why don't you imagine your book of poetry? And so I put myself in a trance and I made up a story. And I said, I'm going to write a book of poetry. It'll be on everybody's coffee table and everybody will love it. It's going to be a great book. And everybody will talk about me and I'll get famous and I'll make a lot of money and I'll be a good writer. And I'll go on all the radio and television talk shows and I'll be a legend in my own mind and in the mind of everybody else. And I just wrapped my mind around what we call a future movie. All right.
Okay.
I came out of trance. I got all those scraps of paper. I gave it to my friend and I asked her to type it up, which she did on her typewriter. Now I had a little manuscript. I sent it in to publishers and I got rejected. But in the day, rejections were on a mimeograph piece of printed paper. Sorry, we don't have this, whatever. But I got handwritten rejections. That was a really good book, but poetry doesn't sell. So as luck would have it, uh, I did I did walk through a bookstore. A book fell on my foot. It was called How to Get Happily Published. And so I bought the book. I read it cover to cover, and it said you could publish your own book. I never knew that. You don't need an agent. You just publish your own book. Now, that's commonplace now. It wasn't then. So I decided to publish my own book. And so I hired an artist and I hired a typesetter, and I hired a printer, and I printed 1,000 books. I put them in my closets in Palos Verdes, and didn't sell a one, except I sent postcards to my friends. They bought one. So maybe I sold 10 books. I had 100 books. So I sat down with myself. See, and when I went out and bought the clothes for the talk shows, oh, I was going to be on television, radio. I was ready. And I sent a copy of the book to a radio talk show host. Her name was Dr. Tony Grant. She was the #1 radio psychologist in the day. And Dr. Grant loved my book, but what she really loved was the letter I wrote about how I removed a poem from the book because my mother read it and threatened suicide. And she said, oh my God, this was terrible, but I changed it. I wrote a different poem on that page. I said, Dr. Grant, here's the poem I removed. Here's the poem I put in instead. And I'm really nervous about releasing this book to the public. What do you think? She went on national radio. Ladies and gentlemen of America, I received the most heart-touching book I've ever read. Please, America, buy this book. It's written by Shelly Stockwell. Shelly Stockwell. And she is a flight attendant with TWA. And I really want you to buy this book. And Shelly, if you hear this, please call me back. I want to put you on the radio. She never had guests. And I want to share what you've written. So I was on national radio in a phone bay in Chicago O'Hare Airport. My book, Insides Out, sold 1,000 books overnight in bookstores
Wow.
all across the world. I went on hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of radio shows, talk shows, television shows. I was a regular on many, many shows. I had my own television show. I became a news reporter on television. I became what I dreamed about. That
Wow.
is the
That's an
power,
incredible story.
and it's real. The power of a story told about what you really want that is in alignment with your core becomes real in time and space. Because here's the law of the mind. The power to imagine something is the identical power that makes it real. And when you imagine it fully and completely, it's already happened in time and space.
Mm.
And with that, I want to put an exclamation point. You've got to have a dream. If you don't have a dream, how you gonna have a dream come real? So that's what the story of money is. It's just the outcome of a dream that you step into and make valid by being genuine, open-minded, and proactive.
Wow.
Okay?
Yep.
Yep. So I hope you all enjoyed it. And I wonder what your takeaway is going to be, Athena. What's the one thing you're going to take away from this talk?
Oh, there's so much. I guess back to what you just said about imagining it. I've always, since childhood, been a good visioning what I want, right? This home that I'm living in, I drove by and imagined myself living in this home for 4 years, wrote letters to the people. It wasn't for sale, right? I just wrote letters for like 4 years to the ladies who owned it. It was a rental property. They had inherited it. And sure enough, when they got ready to sell, they called me first. And I got my sister her house that way. I mean, if you just envision getting what it is that you want, eventually it comes true. Now, I've also experienced where it's not the exact thing that I imagined. With
It's
this house,
better.
it was.
It's usually better.
Right. It's usually better. Right.
That's a beautiful story. Thank you for that.
Yeah. So, and
So
so many things like that in my life, right? So,
yes, I want to underscore one thing so everybody understands. Athena is visual. She visualized it. Not everybody can visualize it through a visual cue. You might smell it, you might taste it, you might hear it, you might just intuit it, but you focus on what you want, not what you don't want. And then it becomes real via your sensory perception.
mhm,
So I want to say that clearly for those who are non-visually dominant. But
mhm,
what you did was so magnificent,
mhm,
what you created. Beautiful.
mhm. The
Excellent.
second thing that was profound to me was the stepping into a story that's in the past, or at least that's what I heard, is that if you've got past memories, past events, and you're still running that as your play, as your current situation, even though it's not current, right? So stepping into the picture of what the future is and stepping into that role or that vision is so important because, yeah, living in a past situation,
Nope.
you'll never get to where you want to go.
That's right. If you want to drive a car, you do it by looking through the safety glass, looking forward. You don't drive a car looking in the rear view mirrors,
Mm-hmm.
or you run into stuff.
Mm-hmm. Literally and in life, right?
That's correct. That's
Yeah,
right. You got it.
that's awesome. So I'm just going to check if anyone raise your hand if you have any questions. And if not, we're at our hour. So thank you so much, Dr. Shelley. This has
Yes,
just been extraordinary.
I want people to know how to get a hold of me. Is that all right?
Yes. Oh, of course.
Okay, so go to hypnosisfederation.com, hypnosisfederation.com, and you'll see a list of books and things available to you. And if anyone would like to call me, I'd love to hear from you, or you can email me at ihf@cox.net, and I am Shelly Stockwell-Nicholas.
And you're on the West Coast,
I am in California. Yes, ma'am.
California.
Yes,
Well,
ma'am.
good.
Okay,
Good.
Athena, what a pleasure to spend time with you.
It was a true delight. Thank you.
You are
And
welcome.
everyone, if you want to contact Shelley and you didn't catch all that, you can email me or put it on the women. I think a lot of people are from our meetup, Women in Investing. So message me there. And our next talk is going to be April 7th at 6 p.m. with Dr. Paris Woods. And I forgot to bring her book here so I could show you. But it's her second book, and she has an incredible story and has created wealth and now is touring, speaking everywhere. Her first book was a Black girl's road to success or to wealth or something like that. And today, in the seventh, she's going to talk about how young people can create habits and learn tools to build wealth. And she's going to tell you how to avoid those traps that some of us have been hypnotized into believing. If you talk to the young people early, they have a chance of disbelieving and ignoring these things that we were told we should do. You know, buying stuff to impress the people who don't know we exist or we don't care about. Why are we doing that, right? And I think young people today are much wiser around these things. So she'll be talking, she'll be sharing April 7th. And then April 14th will be Rabbi Deborah, who's an educator, a speaker, and is going to talk about ancient wisdom around money. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you again, Dr. Shelley. Bye.
Pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye.